Here's where I want to start. Park environment. Overall park environment, I have a lot of takes on this, but I want to give you the floor first because you've been behind the curtain as a Disney cast member at Walt Disney World. Disneyland versus Disney World, all 6 parks really. So 4 at Disney World, 2 at Disneyland. How would you compare it, and which one do you like more?
I would say, I think when I think park environment, I think of 2 separate categories in my mind. People and cast members. Is that kind of what you're going for? Or do you mean music, vibes, or everything?
You can do, so park environment, I'm talking about basically the whole vibe of the park. So if you want to throw people into that, you can. Okay. We're going to talk about people in just a second. So maybe ambiance, music, vibes. Okay. Because people is its own category.
That's what I thought.
As we're going to get to.
Okay. I'll leave cast members for the people category too then.
Yes.
Okay. As far as park vibes, or how did you phrase it?
Park environment.
Park environment. Okay. So we have 6 parks. I loved the music at Disneyland. I think there were at least 4 or 5 times where I was like, we need an ambiance of this at home. We listen to Disney Ambiance at home all the time.
All the time.
And there were several times where I was like, man, we need this ambiance. So Magical Escapes, you need to go to Disneyland and get some stuff done. Red Rose Tavern, the Bluey area, and maybe it's just because I like Bluey, but the music was really, really calm.
It was.
There were a few other areas. Toontown, I really liked the music. So as far as park atmosphere there, I loved it. DCA just reminded me of Hollywood Studios, so there was nothing completely outstanding. I did like the Cars music. And I think something that I love about Disneyland, even though the parks are smaller, their attention to detail is amazing. I'm thinking about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway queue. If you compare that queue to the Disney World queue, the Disney World queue is literally just wallpapered hallways.
Yep.
This had sets and
red carpet.
There were little tiny figurines on these sets that were just so cute.
Yeah.
And I love Walt Disney World ambiance. I'm a person who can sit on Main Street for hours on end and just sit and enjoy. Yeah. So I like the music, I would say equally well. Okay. I really appreciated Disneyland's details. I feel like even on the rides, I don't want to get into rides because that's another category, but there was just a lot of detail that I really appreciated. And so I would say Disneyland wins for park environment and in the details. Wow. It's hard to compare because Disney World has 4 different parks.
Right.
I just feel like Disneyland takes advantage of every inch of space.
Yeah.
Whereas Disney World is so big, the details get lost.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I disagree. I think the park environment is a lot better at Disney World, but I see the points that you're making because, as we'll get into with the queues and everything, Disneyland I think does that far better than Disney World does. But again, that's more talking about rides. Yeah, from an environment standpoint, I couldn't get behind, and we talked about this even while we were walking around the parks. I couldn't get behind the multiple worlds within Disneyland. It took away from the actual park environment where you have so much music and so much this and so much that. Avengers Campus is incredibly small. It's really, really cool. Pim's Test Kitchen and everything, and the store is incredible. But it's super small. And I know they're expanding it and all that different stuff, but they should have started with a huge thing and then downsized rather than what they have, because we walked back and we were just like, where's the rest of this world? It doesn't exist. As I said, Cars Lane was great, but yeah, there's just San Francisco Square, just not a lot going on there. It's really, really tight, and there's just a lot of people, and the park environment is taken away when you have multiple parks. And you made a good point. We were walking around. You said Disneyland and Disney World have the same problem. Disney World has too much space and doesn't fill it in with more stuff. Disneyland has so little space and fills it in with so many different things. Mm-hmm. I feel like if it was flipped and Disney World had all the little worlds that Disneyland does, it would work much better. The fact that Disneyland does it, it's like sardines. It doesn't really work. And so that kind of makes my opinion about the park environment so heavily invested in the Walt Disney World category because of the ambiance, because of, I mean, you talk about Main Street, the Epcot music. I mean, like, and I know you're working with more parks, but Disneyland is the OG. You should feel the ambiance and the environment of Disney when you walk in. And I feel like at Walt Disney World, you feel it a lot more than when you walk into Disneyland. So we'll agree to disagree on that.
Agree to disagree.